here again today with another episode of the Game is Evolved podcast. We're with Coach Andre Springs, a legend in his own right. Told him before we came in, it was an honor to be talking to him about his legacy. And the Game Has Evolved podcast is about telling real stories about real people making a real impact,
right? Whether
it be business, health, community, education. But we're here today with you, sir, and we're glad to be here.
Well, it's an honor, and I appreciate both of you for coming to this great institution. It's a pleasure. But I would also say this, I thank God for what he has done for our president. Our president, as you know, he needed a kidney.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And through the grace of God, he was blessed with a donor. And we just hope things go even better from this point on. But it's been a tough ride for us here at the college through these tough times for our great president, and we just hope him the best. And we're looking forward for him to get strong and healthy.
Amen.
So that we can continue to do great things here at the college.
And Coach, I do want to say, if they don't know, they know now. When we talk about what type of man you are, we're here interviewing you, and you wanted to get started by showing respects and sending prayers out and thanking for your president here at this great institution. That speaks volumes about who you are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Coach Springs is a native of Charlotte, North Carolina. Proud graduate of the Fayetteville State University, as Tracey and I are as well.
Bronco Pride.
Bronco Pride. Where he made his history as the first freshman to win the CIAA golf championship back in 1975. Over the years, he's gone on to coach here at Livingstone College, leading his team to multiple CIAA championships, national titles, and academic awareness. So he's been inducted into several Hall of Fames, including the FSU Athletic Hall of Fame, Livingstone College Hall of Fame, CIAA Hall of Fame, African American Golfers Hall of Fame, and beyond all the awards, his story is about leadership, breaking barriers, inspiring the next generation of athletes. Today we dive into his journey. Coach Springs, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you on the show again, as we said before, and we would like to make sure we capture this journey and let you be able to highlight all the wonderful moments in life that you had through not just sports, but through community and family. Welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm going to get into our questions here real quick. Here to say that Coach Springs started golfing at just about 13 years old. During the 1960s and 70s, black golfers like Charlie Seifert and Lee Elder was breaking barriers. How did their journey inspire you to pursue golf?
Oh, their journey inspired me a lot. When I was growing up, and the way that I got into the game is by working when I was 5 years old at the golf course. Mm-hmm. I worked at the golf range from 5 years old until I finished high school. So that was a great experience and great exposure about the game of golf. And as I moved over to the 7th grade, I'm trying to learn how to play after getting cut in the 7th grade, and I got cut in 8th grade. Mm-hmm. But watching Charlie Seifert on television and Lee Elder and those tough times of not making a golf team and wanting to play the game, they really inspired me because I didn't see anyone that looked like myself when I looked on TV, and that inspired me. And I say, there's hope. All I need to do is to strive and to work hard. And as you know, Charlie Seifert was the first African American to make it on the PGA Tour. Mm-hmm. And then that was in 1960-61 when he finally got out there on the tour. And I would never forget in 2004 when he was inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame, the first black
Amazing.
to be inducted, and I called Charlie Sifford as now Dr. Charlie Sifford because he got an honorary doctorate degree
Right.
Okay.
from Scotland University.
Okay.
And I called Dr. Sifford, and he lived in Cleveland at the time. And I said, "You got to send me a ticket. I got to go to Florida to see you go into the World Golf Hall of Fame."
Okay.
And he was so gracious and nice to send that ticket to me. And I'll never forget, on a Friday at midnight, I rented a convertible Mustang. And I drove all night from 12 o'clock to about 9 to get on the other side, close down to West Lauderdale, Fort Lauderdale area. That's where he went in. And I listened to gospel music the whole trip. It just took me right in. I drove all night. I was by myself.
Moved by the Spirit.
Moved by the Spirit. So it was a great opportunity to be there, to see that. And Lee Elder in 1975, as you know, he was the first African American player in the Masters. And the Masters is one of the most prestigious tournaments in the country.
Oh man, that's a legacy.
Oh yeah. So seeing that all inspired me to continue to fight and to try to learn the game. And I finally made the team in the 9th grade. And I was MVP that year after being cut 2 years in a row.
Charlie Sifford was known as the Jackie Robinson of golf. What were your thoughts about that during that time period?
Oh yeah.
Because you talked about how you didn't see images on TV
Oh, yeah.
that looked like you. You didn't see people that looked like you.
No,
So
not
that
at all.
had to be a great inspiration.
Oh, it was tremendous. I was in New York, and this is what really inspired me. I was in New York with my grandfather, and we was watching television, watching the tour. Charlie Sifford won the Hartford Open. He won that first tournament, won the Hartford Open. And when he won that, I'm sitting there talking to my grandfather. My grandfather said, "Yeah, I know Charlie." I said, "Granddad, it's no way." He said, "I grew up with him.
Come on, man.
I grew up with him. We played baseball together." I said, "Baseball?" I said, "Really?" He said, "Yes, he's a great friend of mine." And as I moved on in life, I ran into Charlie Sifford and I asked him about my grandfather. He called him Rodney. His name was Russell. He said, "I know Rodney. Rodney was the sharpest dresser here in Kitty. Your grandmother Rodney was the sharpest dresser in Charlotte." You know, so I said, "Yeah, that's my grandfather because he was first class." But that inspired me to know that my grandfather had a relationship with Charlie Sifford. And from that day on, from the first time that I talked to Dr. Sifford about my grandfather, we got closer and we've been close until he died.
That was community then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was community.
that's exactly.
Charlie had a trademark, the cigar. I know you know about that. So did you have a trademark during that time?
Well, you know, the cigars came into play at one time, and I'm gonna tell you how that came into play. It came into play through Walter Morgan, who was also on the senior tour, was a great friend of mine.
Okay.
And Walter Morgan was a great friend of Charlie Sifford. Now, you got two guys with these cigars, right? So that's how that came towards me, dealing with cigars. And it's occasionally, but, you know,
Okay.
every time I win something.
One more
I
question
like
in that area. President Obama gave the Freedom Award medal out in 2015. How was it and how did you feel when he presented that award to Charlie Sifford?
Oh man, that's tough. You're seeing a guy that was the first African American golfer to receive an award like that, and to witness the things that Charlie Sifford went through. Man, that's tough.
Oh yeah,
That was
was talking
tough.
about how
I
they
mean,
kicked his ball on the court.
You know, when he was on the tour, people was calling him
Out of the name.
the negative name, and you're trying to concentrate. They putting things in the hole. They when you're getting ready to put his ball, he's finding species in the cup when he receives his ball out of the cup, kicking his ball in the rough when he tees off, kicking his ball, stepping on his ball, not being able to eat when you're on the tour at the country clubs with all the other pros in the restaurant. He's got to eat his dinner in the locker room. So when you understand all this stuff and you've been around him and you learn these things as a young man that trying to pursue to be that professional golfer myself, for him to receive that award and to see it, it was real touching. It was real touching, and it's touching just to hear about it now, just to talk about it.
They say he was a picture of motivation and concentration when he played.
Well, that's why he made it. And that's what I learned from him, because he stayed focused, because he knew that if he didn't stay focused, he couldn't accomplish things to make a better life for his family.
Right.
Good point.
So he had to strive to go through some things, and had not been for him going through it, I wouldn't be the golfer today. And these young golfers that I'm coaching today, they wouldn't be here today. So it always take that pioneer to open the door to make room for the ones in the back. And
Legacy.
that's the tough part about it.
And you talked about that, and you just relaying that story as it was so much more than just seeing your heroes that you looked up to. A lot of people on that journey, you talked about the struggles, you talked about the pitfalls, you talked about the social unrest and all those things, but you talked about seeing him get recognized. It wasn't from a standpoint of just seeing someone that you saw from afar. It sounds like that close personal relationship that a lot of people don't get to have with their heroes. You had so much intentionality in your journey, so much of a connection. It seemed like God was in the midst, because not only were they your heroes, people you looked up to, you were able to have that personal relationship with them. And it seemed like it meant so much to you.
Oh, it meant a lot. It meant a lot. It even strengthened me within my soul spiritually, because I watched what took place, and I listened to him talk about the things that took place, and it helped me to be the man that I am today, and to know how to deal with tough situations today when I'm confronted with them. Because things still going on. It's not as much, but things still going on. I've ran into a lot as an individual myself, but you got to be able to take it to another level, because sometimes they want you to come back at them in a sense.
Right.
And sometimes it's just not time to do that.
Right.
You know, we might backtrack later, but right now I'm on a mission trying to strive to be the best man I can be, so that I can pave a way for the young folks today.
Right. It's the bridge builder.
And you talked about paving the way. So, and that is a great transition into the lessons that you learned from those greats and those personal relationships. What were those things that you passed to the next generation of golfers?
Well, to stay focused. That's pretty much how you're going to be successful in this world today. Is stay focused on your goals.
Right.
Because that's what they did. They did the same thing. They stayed focused on the goals, and to realize that it's not just you. You know, it's God out here as well, that gives you that encouragement of strength. You just have to believe in it.
And staying connected to God. And that is your life source more than anything else. And it takes some bumps and bruises to learn that along the way, and have some great people in your life that point you in that direction. But I hear that all in your story.
Oh, man. It pointed me. I've been that way all my life. And I've learned how to love people.
That's the point.
Yes.
I learned how to
Humanity.
love people that's jealous of what I have accomplished.
Yeah.
You know, you got so many things come at you, but sometimes you have to help people along the way when they have those wicked ways towards you. You have to help them and encourage them, because you never know down the road when you're gonna need some help from somebody.
You never know who's watching.
You just never know.
So, Coach Spring, take us back to 1975. What drew you to Fayetteville State University in the game of golf? Yeah.
Well, my sister, you know, she was the only girl. It was 3 boys and 1 girl. And I saw my 2 brothers, they went in the military, and my sister and I went to college. But my sister went to college first. She was 1 year ahead of me.
Right.
She chose Fayetteville State. Now, I had a lot of schools calling me when I finished high school. And I was pretty much looking at South Carolina State because there was some golfers in the neighborhood that's on the team there, and they were striving, trying to get me to come there. But my sister, I wanted to be around my sister, and she was at Fayetteville State, and I asked her about the golf program, and she said, well, I get you in touch with the golf coach.
Right.
And that's how I got to Fayetteville State.
Okay. Coach Moses Walker.
Coach Walker.
A couple of your teammates had said something about Coach Walker. I think their names were Dennis Williams and Ken Kimber.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So they said Coach Walker had such a positive impact on so many athletes. He was one of the most intelligent and passionate coaches. Coach cared deeply about his work, his players, and his people around him. What are your thoughts about that?
Oh, that was great because that was the truth. I remember when I was there as a freshman, my freshman year, Coach had a certain spirit about him that he wanted you to be the best that you can be academically and on the athletic side. He would, you know, sometimes I pick off of energy, his type energy. So just drew him till if I didn't have a class, I was at the coach office. I just wanted to be around coach.
Right.
I always wanted to be a coach. When I was, you know, maybe in the 9th, 10th grade. And, you know, my golf coach, Coach Walker, was that caring person that made me feel good as a freshman and had the patience to work with me to make sure that I was doing the right thing, going in the classes and making sure I had the right classes and asking me how I'm doing in class and things like that he showed so much concern. And, you know,
HBC love.
It was the best coach you could ever have. And he taught me a lot. And what I picked up from Coach, you know, all my life I've been about the mental side of everything.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated about the mind.
The game of life, the game on the field, no matter what, that mental side.
Yeah, the mental side.
Because you talked about focus earlier.
Yeah, because the mind controls it all, right?
Right.
So I've always been interested in that. And my coach, he was the same way. He was a mental type, you know. When we're on the golf course, you're not thinking. He would talk to the players, you know, you got to stay focused. You got to concentrate because you're going to be out there for 5 hours playing golf. And
golf is that game. It's a mental game.
It's a mental game. You know, you can hit some bad shots, and you got to keep your focus.
Course management.
That course management. You know,
Course management.
You know, so I learned a lot from Coach.
When you say you learned that much from Coach, it's amazing when you hear that, what mentorship is like. And when God is leading you and you're attached to him, he'll lead you to the mentorship that you need. And when you speak of Coach, you like you said, you were attracted to him like a light, a fly to light, that you wanted to be under that leadership and that mentorship. And I know that led to that immediate impact that you were able to make at Fayetteville State, becoming the first, and we talked about this earlier, first ever freshman to win the CIAA Individual Golf Championship. What do you remember vividly about a moment like that?
Well, when I left high school and I stepped on Fayetteville State campus, I recognized something that was different for me. it was my senior year in high school. I was the captain of the team, but the whole team was white. And when I got to Fayetteville State, the team was black. And I'm like, hey, it's some good brothers that can play this game. I'm watching these guys fight. I've been playing against a lot of white guys. Now I'm in college and I got some black team members that's coming from different states. And I'm like, these guys can play.
And that gave you a whole nother feel.
I've been exposed.
Yeah, a whole nother exposure, because it was new. And I started focusing. There's a guy named Vincent Reed. Vincent Reed, he was a senior. And he was the previous year he was the best golfer there. And the year that I had arrived, I'm sure he was thinking the same thing. And I'll never forget, Vincent told me, he said, I heard you're Springs from Charlotte. I heard you're a pretty good golfer. You'll probably finish second or third, something like that individually.
Oh, he
in the championship. Well, he was just, most winners got a little edge about him, and I learned to be that way. That's why I'm the way that I am today.
Hey, look, Coach, it might have been a way of testing you to see who you were and what he was, what type of character you were.
Well, I told Vincent that I come here to finish number one individually in the CIAA. And I also come here to be a part of the best team. So I want to win it all.
Yeah, so you told him off gate that, and I think that's a great point for any listener, any individual, young or old, that you can have that individual aspiration and competitiveness, but still be about team goals as well.
Oh yeah, because before it gets to be the team, you got to bring something to the table.
Right.
Exactly.
To attach to the nucleus of the team. So that was my mindset coming in, that I wanted to be the best. Matter of fact, my mindset. When I was in high school, I wanted to be the best golfer in the world. I was on that level. And I was serious about it.
Well, if you don't believe in yourself, who will believe in you?
That's right. Yeah.
And then it reminds me, I just heard someone say the other day, there's a difference between being great and being looked at as greatness.
Oh, yeah.
Like all-encompassing greatness. You can be great at what you do, but when they look at you, do you symbolize greatness? And it sounds like you symbolize greatness from day one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's the way you show up.
Yeah, they say the largest room in the world is room for improvement. That's
right.
That's what they say. They say the largest room in the world is room for improvement. So we all have to improve on something.
Right.
So I always had that mindset of improving, even when I was shooting the numbers. I said, you got to take it to another level. You got to improve in something. I remember one time it snowed in the whole state of North Carolina. And I knew it snowed in the whole state. And I went to the dorm, talked to the dorm director and told him I need about 5 sheets, bedspread sheets. He said, for what? I said, I got a little project I got to deal with. He said, well, you got to be honest. What you going to do with them? I said, they don't have to be the perfect sheets.
Right.
But I needed something because it was snowing.
Right.
And I needed to go out and put those sheets and spread them out.
And simulate.
Stake them. Okay. So when the snow would finally drop, I can get some of my buddies on campus to move the snow so I can have a place to practice. The snow, and they did an article on me that they caught me practicing in the snow, and they wrote a story about me in the Fayetteville paper because they found me practicing in the snow. And they asked me, why are you practicing in the snow? I said, because I know everybody in the state is not. All the golfers from the schools, Livingstone and Winston-Salem, all Elizabeth City. I know the golfers not practicing.
Right.
I'm getting ahead of the game. I want to stay ahead of the game. That's the only way. I've been that way all my life.
So
You're built that way.
Yeah.
You were built that way.
Yeah.
perfect practice make perfect.
Right.
Yes.
Practice make perfect.
Right.
Perfect practice make perfect.
Yeah.
So
And then
you
on
did
top
it.
of that, when we hear that, we always hear, but it's the strive, that journey to strive for it. Even if you never reach it, that, how you say, reach for the stars and you don't know how far you go.
Yeah.
But like you said, perfect practice makes perfect because you're striving for that
I'm
every day.
striving for that every day. Just imagine when I got cut in the 7th grade.
Right.
Then I got cut in the 8th grade. Now everybody's laughing at me in the neighborhood because I'm playing the game anyway. But they hadn't been exposed to the game.
Right.
That was the only reason why they wasn't playing the game. Because if they was exposed to the game, they would have been out there with me.
Right.
But my uncle took me to the driving range when I was 5 years old to help him pick up the golf balls. So I went to work Saturday and Sunday morning, came home and went to church on Sunday. Now, I didn't feel like going to church on Sunday all the time as a little kid, but my mother had a little boost that she said, son, you're going to church.
You gotta be there.
So I just knew that I was going to church every Sunday and I was prepared to do that.
Right.
But just imagine what really made me strive to go back out after being cut in the 7th and the 8th grade. And that's that mindset of the fact that I had a vision. This is something that I want to do. This is something that I'm going to do. By all means. And that was my mindset. So I was a serious kid. I've been sort of serious all my life, mentally about things. I love to have a good time. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But when it comes down to business, I got to take care of business because that's what gets it done.
Right.
And, you know.
And I don't know if this ever been said about you, man. It probably has, but I'm listening to you now. And I mean, I'm so engaged, man. Like I told you, it was a great inspiration to be talking to you. I hear child prodigy because the average kid would not have that drive. You're talking about working since the age of 5, having people that push you towards that. But not only that, just to be able to see your life, envision your life. And we talk about all the time, Foster, work towards that. But not only that, to actually achieve the things you wanted to achieve. And how many times we hear about Jordan being cut and that being motivation.
He was cut 2 years in a row. He was cut 2 years in a row. And when I was cut, I was MVP the next year.
That's work.
Okay, the only black on the team and was MVP. But I also told my oldest brother, Robert, he was about 6 years older. 6 years older. And I think he's had the best golf swing I've ever seen. My brother could actually play. But here's the deal. I had to ask him to come to practice. I grew up without a father. Okay. So my big brother, Robert, I needed him to come to golf practice, the tryouts, my 9th grade year, because I didn't think I was getting a fair shot. I was hitting the ball just as good as the other kids. I'm the only black kid out there, but something as my spirit was telling me, I need some backup. I need somebody with me that can support me.
Right.
And that, he came, he was there at golf practice. I made the team that year. Okay, and from that year, when I made the team as a little kid, I visualized like you turn a light switch on and off. The light came on. I said, got it. As a kid, I said, I understand life. This is what I'm telling myself. And I said, if you fall down, you just get back up in life.
Just back up.
And every time through life, I had some tough moments. We all have them. It's part of nature. But I got back up every time. Because if you don't, you're going to stay down.
You're going to stay down.
Okay, so it's up to you to make it happen.
Right.
Especially during that social landscape during that time.
Oh, yeah.
You being the only black.
Trying
to make your way. And like you said, there's something else. Not having the father there, but then you found a way. That's a message to a lot of young people now that you don't make an excuse for your situation.
Exactly.
You find a way.
Oh, yeah, you find a way if you really want to make it happen. If not, you're a Sunday owl, I call it.
What's called, so you have a little grit in your craw.
A little grit in your craw.
A little grit in your craw so you can get off. So I'm going to go ahead into the next question here, guys. How did it feel to be recognized FSU's most outstanding freshman in the NAIA All-American so early in your college career?
And you kind of covered that, man, talking about like the things you've achieved.
Yeah, it means that I'm on schedule.
That's
That's what it meant for me. I was on schedule.
Because you had already made up in your mind.
I already made what I wanted to do.
So that wasn't anything
That's
for you.
right.
I don't need applause.
That was
I don't
it.
need cheers.
I'm on schedule.
I'm on schedule.
All right.
And going into that, your teams won 4 straight CIAA golf championships. What was the secret to that kind of consistent success? I asked that, but you, like you said, focus.
Yeah, well, it was focus, dedication. You know, I was the captain my sophomore year at Fayetteville State. Vincent Reed was the captain, the great Vincent Reed, because he was a good player. And pound for pound, I thought he was a little better. But at the same time, my mindset was I'm gonna do the best I can to be the best that I can be.
But having somebody like Vincent Reed.
Oh, that he pushed me. He pushed me. Oh, yeah, because he could flat out play. He was a great player.
Okay.
But at the same time, by being the golf captain, when Vincent left,
It's your show.
that's my show.
Your show. I felt the same way.
It's my show.
Hey, I'm the captain there, right? I got the
captain.
responsibility.
You got a responsibility.
I'm
It
gonna be
falls
the
on
coach
you.
quite often.
It falls
now,
on
right?
your back.
And look, as he walks across the stage, I was like, much success to you. This is my show now.
You actually feel that way when you have the leadership manner in your hand. I
Yeah,
can relate to that.
and when you Mr. MVP and you the captain, your team usually listen. They usually follow your lead, right?
Right.
And my whole thing was to the team. I felt like I was a young coach all of a sudden, you know, 'cause I wanted to be a coach like my coach.
Right.
Yeah, I majored in physical education because I wanted to be a coach. Everybody on the team majored in business. I wanted to be a coach.
You knew you wanted to stay in that game, that realm.
Yeah, because
being able to give back at the same time.
Because if things doesn't work down the road, plan B comes in as a coach.
Right.
You got to have a plan B in life, right? So that was my plan B. And so I would tell the team and talk with the team about, hey, you know, we got to put the time in. And I helped them with every, you know, problems they had with the games as well as the coach.
I'm gonna skip around a few and come back to that. Before I go to the Hall of Fame, because we share that moment in life as well. I won't go to after graduating, and I come back to question 5. After graduating, you set off to Livingstone College. What inspired you to start coaching instead of pursuing a professional career in golf?
Well, as you get older, you start learning more.
Right.
You start seeing more things.
Okay.
You start hearing more things about what's going on in the golf world. Golf wasn't getting any better than when Charlie Siffers, but it was moving in a slow pace, at a slow pace, right? Well, Dr. Robertson was the basketball coach and the athletic director at Fayetteville State.
Okay.
He was coming to Livingstone to be the athletic director, and I had just graduated that May. And he's like, hey, Andre, you want to
Ram in the bush.
you want to come and be my golf coach at Livingstone? Now you got to remember, I thought I would be a coach someday, but in high school,
Right.
not straight out of college to a college, and I'm 20 years old. Imagine that. I thought I had the route to go to high school and work my way up to be a coach in college, if that was the case. But on the other hand, on that pro side that I was wanting to do, Anheuser-Busch was going to sponsor me. But they wasn't giving me the money that I wanted. I wanted real money.
And you knew you deserved it.
Yeah, because if you're not going to give me what I need, then the white kids are getting all the support of sponsorship because it was that type of world for them. So I'm sort of looking at the deck here. I'm like, you know, I'm going to get a job. And I could coach at a college, and maybe I track back at this golf thing. But as I get older, I'm seeing the fairness is not there for the athlete that has the numbers, that can play, but it's not getting near the same opportunity that the white golfers were getting. So I'm looking at that pitch, and I'm weighing the deck here, and I'm saying, hey, I'm getting ready to go straight to a college to be the golf coach.
Still in line with your goals.
Still in line with my goals.
Teaching, coaching.
Teaching, coaching.
Here now.
Right.
Still around what you love.
Yeah. And it happened to be Livingstone, and Livingstone was the worst out of the 12 schools, and I'm leaving Fayetteville State was the best out of the 12. So I left the best, came to the worst. I said, that's a challenge.
And
To turn this wagon around.
Right.
So when I got here, I threw everybody off the team, because you got to remember, except one player. You got to remember, we was all the same age, so we knew each other. They calling me Dre. And I'm like, no, it's Coach Springs now.
Right.
But I can understand why they called me Dre.
Right.
We've been together. We played Livingstone. We was buddies.
Yeah, you just leaving college and they still
That's right. So
they played against you.
I understood that, but I told them, I
That's
said,
the
but the other students on the campus, they don't know me.
Right.
So you got to call me Coach Springs. And by the way, I want everybody to start coming to practice on time. I said, we're the worst out of the 12. I just left the best. And they was sort of playing around a little bit and practice after practice. So I just called the practice and made a decision. I said, you'll get your scholarship money this year, but you can't play for me. And Artie Kilgore, I said, you can stay because you've been on time every day.
Okay.
So I had one player my first year. And the athletic director, president, you got to have more than one. I said, that's the team. That's my team. And I'm going to build from that one player. I took him to every event and said, you're going to play individually. So can you imagine this big van, just two of us in it?
Right.
Okay. And we're teammates, I guess, right? I'm the coach, he the player. And he played individually. And I started recruiting. And then I started recruiting. Next thing you know, and I stayed here from the age of 20 to 30. I stayed 10 years here. In those 10 years, we won 4 CIAA championships, 3 national championships. In those 10 years.
Man.
Wow, that's doing it.
It was serious business.
And you look at, you made that major chess move. That one player, I see that as a seed that you planted when no one else could see it. You planted that seed because you knew what you were building.
Right.
I couldn't have those apples that were going to spoil the whole bunch.
But that's what's coming from a winning program do.
Right.
It
You came from a winning program.
Winning program. I knew
You couldn't see it any other way.
Yeah, and you got to remember, I was a captain the last 3 years,
Right.
so really I was coaching a little bit
Right.
while I was
And
there.
playing against these guys, you observed them already playing against them.
And
Yeah.
you talked about it a few minutes ago when you said, as a captain, as a leader, you were like the coach. I still call him Cap to this day because he was captain when I was in there as a freshman.
Oh, yeah.
So that impact is there.
Oh yeah, anytime you're the captain, that's a big responsibility. My captains, ever since I've been in coaching, if you're the captain, you got a job to do, and I expect you to do the job. If not, I'm gonna get you out of here. I need another captain.
Tough decisions sometimes, but you got to be ready to make decisions that impact the whole group.
That's right. To motivate the group, to keep us moving. You know, we're all in this thing together. You know.
And you talked about pivoting back. He talked about pivoting back. We went to Livingstone, but at the same time, being the first golfer to be inducted into Fayetteville State Hall of Fame. That had to been. We already taled about the legacy moments in your life. That had.
Y'all been doing your homework. Yeah, that was in 1990.
1990.
I was in I was managing golf courses in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
And when I got the call that I was going to the Hall of Fame, I'm like, really? And matter of fact, I was the first of my class of all sports. I was the first one to go in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
And the first golfer to go in as well. So that was a great honor. That was, it was, it was unbelievable because it was my first Hall of Fame. That's an honor, and it felt great, and I felt good about the time and what I put in to get to that level, it was just outstanding.
I'm looking at him. Hey, look. I always joke around with him, coach. I say, okay, well, I wait for it. But this right here is within line because I see his face because you guys share that. And he said we share something, but as you were saying that, he was looking like, yeah, I feel it. I feel what he's saying. So yeah, Foster, you guys share that.
Well, it's work. I'm not saying the other players don't work, but when you take on that leadership manner and you're a leader, and then you play at that level,
right?
I mean, it's whatever it is, and it's something that you earn.
Yeah.
And when you earn it, you love it and you receive it in a way that it makes sense after all that you've done, the sacrificing.
And looking from a distance, I see it as, just being a sports fan, playing sports in college and high school, and sitting here speaking with you guys. You speak about, that's a brotherhood. You work for that. You earn that. So I do see that, and I applaud that any individual that can make that type of dedication to the game they love and to their team, you get recognized for that. That's God.
Oh, yeah.
Where they say, well done.
Well done. Well done. That's right. God is in everything.
Yes.
And I think the spirit, and I think just having that spirit around me connected to the Lord has really made me successful to this day. All this Hall of Famers, anytime I see a Hall of Famer, I say to myself, oh, he had the combination.
Right.
Because you got to understand that it takes a special person. Practice could be over, but it's over for the team, but not for the Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Right.
The guy that's going to be the Hall of Famer, he's staying after practice because he wanted to take it to another level.
Yeah.
And that's that extra energy that you have to put in to achieve that. So anytime I see a Hall of Famer, I know he's been that and beyond the call of duty, because it just doesn't come that easy.
And I like the way you said that. I never heard that put in that way, but as soon as you said it, it hit me to say, wow, that's an amazing way to look at it. You said he had the combination. Nobody gave you a key and said you have access.
That's right.
You had to do a number of things with your integrity, your leadership, your work ethic, how you carried yourself, your dedication to the game. That's that combination.
That's
knowing
right.
the combination.
Oh, yeah.
And you see another brother, like you said, man, he got
I go back to him just hanging out at Coach Moses' office. I hung out at Dr. Merchant's office the same way.
Talk about all the time, Doc Merchant.
So the same similarities was hanging out there, getting those lessons, understanding what he want from me to be a Hall of Fame, but even from you being around Coach Moses, Coach Walker, you got all that. So those intangibles came together.
And you guys got something from individuals and coaches who did the same thing. They got it from Hall of Famers and legends and Dick Ryan, and they passed it in the same way that you passed it to your players.
Yeah.
And that's where we go to. I know we talked a lot about what you've achieved and all those things, but being able academically to see your players, your students excel, that had to be big for you too, to see them excel academically, because you talk about the next step for you is not only what you're doing in the game on the course, but the game of life.
Yeah, it all comes together. I think when you have a team that really understands the academic side of the puzzle, it helps the physical side of the athlete, because you don't have to be on the basketball golf course or the football course worrying about grades while you're trying to concentrate on winning in a particular sport. When you have the offense in order, things run smooth like water on a duck's back. You know when you put the time in to practice. I knew when I was in college, listen, it's tough today to be an athlete and to deal with the academic side. That's tough because you're traveling a lot. Then you got to go practice, and then you got to go back to your room and you're tired, and you got to take a shower, and then you got to study. I found myself studying with the book in the bed, and I was asleep because I was tired. But at the same time, I had to find a way to get it done because if I really love the game of golf,
Right.
apparently if I didn't do the work on the
play.
academic side, I'm not going to play. I'm not going to be eligible.
You just spoke about the combination. That's a part of
That's
the
part of
combination.
the combination.
That's all the combination.
And then once the door opened, then you know that's the right number to that combination. So you just keep repeating it.
So, Coach, you won CIAA Golf Coach of the Year multiple times. How has your coaching philosophy evolved over the years since you won that?
It's always been the same. It's always stayed the course of being honest with my players, being open to have them to relate to me if there are some issues.
Right.
You got to remember, coaches make mistakes just like your players. Now, and I'm the first one to admit to my players that I made a mistake, because if we would have not traveled maybe a couple of tournaments, I think we could have won the CIAA championship. And then we made it to the NCAA. We took it to another level. And that's why I told my team, I said, I made a mistake. I think I put a little too much on, in the oven there. So when you find that you're letting your players know that that's on me. I made a mistake. You guys played good golf. I think I just put you in a tough situation.
Right.
They have a tendency of respecting you for that.
Right.
And, you're talking about,
Accountability.
Accountability. I come from old school. I come from the old school. Old school was different from today.
Right.
So these athletes today, you have to find a way to really understand and be there to really listen, because it's so many things going on in today's world, with mental issues and things like that. So you have to really have a relationship to
Even when I was here with you, we dealt with a kid that had the mental health thing going on.
That's
Remember
right.
That?
Yeah.
And, he was bringing all his family and stuff to football practices.
Okay.
We had to figure out, okay, we're in the crisis mode here. We need a mental health therapist here. So you get a lot of stuff coming with the athlete these days.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
And this is something that it just so happened that November is Men's Health Awareness Month, and that's no more evident than it is here when you're talking about collegiate sports, and you're talking about people coming from backgrounds where they have disadvantaged situations, mental health issues, and sometimes that coach, you are the best support they can get, because back home they may not be getting that support, but here you have to find a way. And you spoke about a situation you guys were in when Foster was here. You have to find a way to be coach and then also be that loving foundation for that student athlete that needs it.
Oh, it sure is. I mean, recently, there was a golf tournament coming up, and it was a big golf tournament in Raleigh. At SAS, the company, SAS that's in Raleigh, they put on a big golf tournament, and we won it 2 years in a row.
Is that the trucking company, the SAIS?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
Computers and all that down in, right in outside of Durham.
Okay,
Raleigh.
okay. I was thinking about something else. Okay.
But one of my players, one of my good players, a freshman, but he's a good player, he said, Coach, I need a break. And I said, you need a break? I said, really? He said, yes, sir, I need a break. And I asked him, first of all, I said, now, do we need to talk to someone? Do I need to get some help? He said, no, I just need a physical break. I said, and I really needed him in that event, because I'm looking at my next man, my sixth man, is, wow, okay, I'm going to have a problem in winning. But I said, why don't we talk about this again tomorrow? So let's just take it easy and let's talk about it tomorrow, because I want to make sure that's what you need. And the next day when I met with him, I said, well, how you feel today? You think you should travel in a couple of days, or how you feel? He said, I really need to break. That's what I knew.
Right.
I had to bring the line up, bring him up, and coach my sixth man to get prepared.
Right.
You know, so you got to have that ear.
Yeah.
And you know, the kid came back to me because I called and checked on him when we was on the road. I called and checked on him. And he really said, "Thank you, Coach. I really appreciate, you know, your concern and you being there." And that right there made me feel good because I did a good job as a coach.
Take the break or he'll break.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Choose what break you want.
Choose. You gotta have that open
Take the
ear.
break, or like you said, have an individual break, and you don't want that.
And you don't want it.
Yeah.
No.
And then the thing about it is, because we talk about it with Protect Your Skull, and when we talk about the game has evolved, winning is just not about winning on the field,
Right.
or on the course. It's about, can you help them develop and can win in the game of life?
That's right.
In every area of their life.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
We're going to, we take it back sometimes. One thing that kind of, we talk about the competitive edge, you once led your team to a victory over your alma mater, Fayetteville State. That competitive drive, how did that feel in that time?
Can you imagine coaching against your hero, the mentor of your college life? I mean, wow, and Coach knew the secret, and I knew the secret of how to make things happen because I come from that start.
Came from that start.
Okay, so now both of us looking at each other, and it felt great. It felt great. That fight came out. I want to win.
Right.
You know, I'm a coach now.
Listen, I witnessed that this weekend with Smith and Hayes and Maurice. And Maurice told the boys that it's okay for a man to cry. But he had a right to cry because he went in and did something to his mentor.
Right.
So,
Right.
So, you
Right.
see it all the time in boxing, you see it in football, you see it everywhere.
It was a touching moment.
And think about that situation on the other side when you talk about Hayes, just that example, an example you just gave within your own life and your own legacy. Hayes had to look across and say, man, I lost, but I got guys over there that are part of my tree. So it cuts differently because you're happy for them, but at the same time, you have your players that you're like, man, you don't want to lose the game.
Dr. Walker probably said the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. We're all in this thing to win, right? Yeah.
So here we go. What roles have your wife and family played in keeping you grounded, focused through decades of competition, leadership, and service?
Oh, my wife. Oh man.
Hey, look,
My wife.
I can give an amen on that one
You gotta
myself.
give amen on that. My wife is unbelievable.
Man.
Unbelievable. She's a winner. When I first met her, that's why I married her. I saw that winning spirit. Her name is Joy. That's a joy, man. That's
man.
You gotta love. I love Joy. I love.
Right.
You gotta love your wife. Because your wife, that's that backbone. You gotta remember. I take everything home, right?
Right.
So I have to talk to my wife, and my wife have to talk to me, and we bank off each other to different things because I got from my wife that when it's two girls, in her family, and her dad, Mr. Page was a Hall of Famer at Fayetteville State.
It was Page,
Now, Mr. Page would watch sports at home, I guess, and my wife would, want to be around her dad, and she would sit there and watch sports with him.
Sitting with the girl dad.
So yeah, that was a girl dad. There's no question.
Yeah.
But you set the tone.
And he set the tone.
Yeah.
So my wife my wife can call out names. I say, honey, who is that guy? What's his name? He could be playing football for the Jets or the Browns, or basketball for anybody. My wife, that's such and so. Oh, she pulled the names out just like that. It's amazing. So my wife, she helped me a lot in terms of positive thoughts because she hear me talking all the time. And sometimes she'll come off and she'll say, have you tried this? Have you tried that? And I said, no, I think I will, because that makes sense.
Right.
So it's great to have a wife like that supports you, and all the golfers, they call her Mama Joy, Mama Joy, because that comes into play. That sometimes I have to bank off my wife, talk to her about some situations to get her opinion, because I know it's a great one, that she's going to give me some great advice.
Good feedback.
So what a beautiful wife to have.
Right. Her father, Mr. Page, me and you talk about Mr. Page. I love Mr. Page. He's been in the same chapter down in Raleigh. But Mr. Page was a wonderful man. Good
Thank
man.
you. Thank
Good
you
man.
for saying that.
Good man.
Yeah,
Good man. Love Mr. Page.
Yeah. He's great. He was a great father-in-law, and he loved Fayetteville State.
Loved it.
Oh man, listen, he would give Fayetteville State so much money every year, and I was athletic director at that time here, and I would be over to the house, and he writing a check to Fayetteville State, and I'm saying, there's a check coming towards Livingstone. He said, well, I got to give it to Fayetteville State. So I love Mr. Page. He was a great man.
Great man. Great
And
man.
as well as my sister-in-law and my mother-in-law. Great family.
Great man.
Great family.
So, 1989 and 2015, Livingstone golf team both entered to the Hall of Fame. What made those groups so special to you?
Say that again.
The 1989 and the 2015 teams entered into the Hall of Fame here.
Oh,
in Livingstone.
man.
What made those groups so special to you?
And when we were looking at this, and that information came up, when Foster pulled that information out, we laughed and said, man, with those teams entering, you had a chance to enter again because you led those teams.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
They got you in.
They got me in the Hall of Fame, okay? I tell you, that was a great team. That team, we go back, that team was the team that I'll never forget, leading up to the CIAA championship. I remember one year we beat everybody all year. We got to the CIAA championship, we finished third.
Wow.
And we beat everybody that whole year, everybody in the conference. Nobody could beat us. We got to the championship and we finished third. And Fayetteville State won that year. And Coach knew that I was hurt. He knew that I was hurt.
Did you have Mac Dougal do that time?
No, it was Coach Walker.
Walker.
That time.
Okay.
And I was really, because that was a low blow, and I tell you what I did. I regrouped. The next year, I took that same team. I said, listen, we're going to the championship. We're going to the beach. We're going to Virginia Beach. We're going to spend one day at Virginia Beach and do whatever we want to do. Walk around, have a good time at the beach. The next
Treats are good.
Oh, yeah, they have a great time.
They have to refresh.
I remember he knocked on the door at 5 o'clock in the morning and said, okay, pack your stuff. We're going to Hampton. That's where the championship was at.
Right.
We went up to Hampton. It was pouring down rain. Everybody in the pro shop, all the teams and everything. The captain, I waited for the captain. I said, tell the guys to suit up. We're going out there to play, to practice. And he said, well, we got one problem. He came back and said, Jerome's got an attitude. Because Jerome was my best player.
Okay.
He's got an attitude. So I told him, I said, well, the top three, let them play together. The bottom two, put them with me. That's Jerome. Make sure Jerome play with me. So I wanted to monitor his attitude in the rain. And we went out and played and everything. He let the club go on the fourth hole. And I said, why'd you let the club go? He said, it's too wet. I can't hold the club. I said, okay. So I said, well, you're my best player. And everybody else can hold on to the club. I say, so hang in there. Do the best you can. So we get all the way out to like 15. The sun has started coming out since we're on number 10. We're on 15. I told Jerome, I said, why don't you go to the clubhouse? Here's $1. Get you a pack of nabs or something. He said, well, Coach, I've been out here all day. I said, yeah, but with a bad attitude. So why don't you take your attitude all the way to the clubhouse and we'll be there shortly.
Wow.
So when we got there, we got everything packed. We go to dinner. And the captain at dinner says, Coach, can I speak on behalf of the team? Sure. He said, the team want to know why do we have to practice because the other teams didn't practice in the rain. I said, well, that's easy because I'm the coach. And I made the decision. I said, now how about if it rains tomorrow? If it rains tomorrow, I think we will be more adapt to being prepared, knowing how to handle the rain and everything in that situation. I said, so as a coach, I have to make decisions. And sometimes you might not like the decision, but one thing about it, when you become a coach, if you ever become a coach, you have your own decisions to make. But right now, I'm the coach. And
you will see the difficulty in those decisions.
That's
when
right.
You're trying to make decisions for the team goals.
The next day it rained the same way.
Wow.
And that's the first day of the tournament. So now the kids going out in the rain, and about an hour I'm riding out there, and the other kids from the other teams saying, are they going to call it off? And I'm looking at my players, they're with the umbrella, and they're looking straight ahead. Because they know we just discussed this at dinner the other night, that if it rained. And the coaches in the clubhouse saying, we might have to call this thing. I said, well, hold it. We can't call it. Maybe we'll call, instead of playing 18 holes, we'll just play 9. I said, because half the players have made the turn. We still got players, so let's just wait and see. Well, next thing you know, the last few groups made the turn. The sun stopped and the rain, the sun came out. So we kept it going. We shot the best score in the rain that we ever shot on a sunny day. We shot a record score, our best score ever. And that's what I was telling the team. Now everybody's happy. We won the championship. The next day we played well, won the championship. And that was a lesson learned for them. And so that's that national championship team, and that's that team that was the first team to go in the Hall of Fame here. And matter of fact, we had them from California, we had them from Detroit. They was all over. And I talked to all of them about 3 weeks ago. And I told them, I'm trying to bring all my players together from all my coaching careers this summer to have a reunion to where all the new players can meet each other, you know, from different years and what have you. And we go out and play and we have a cookout and we just talk and have a good time and get to meet each other because some teams didn't know each other, right? That's the way. But it was great just to have that conversation with them a few weeks ago.
You've had a great impact on the youth. And you just talked about going from, listen to this, coach, one player and cutting everybody else to winning CIAA championships, a national championship. Not only you getting inducted to the Hall of Fame at 2 schools, you've seen teams get inducted into the Hall of Fame. You've seen academic success at every level for your athletes. In 1987, you started a minority golf clinic for youth athletes. What impact do you feel, did you see it have on the community and also those players?
Oh, it had a great impact because in Salisbury, I felt that kids need to be exposed to the game because the kids' exposure. I mean, I had 3 sons myself, and I said, guys, listen, I was telling my sons, you don't have to play golf. Let's make sure we understand this. Because I know how your dad is. Your daddy just loved golf. But it's one thing you got to do. I got to do this. I got to expose you to the game. And then you can make your own decision down the road. Don't have to be right now. It could be 20 years from now when you're working somewhere at a company and they're having a golf tournament. You've been exposed to the game. You know the game. You know how to play the game to where you can be able to keep up. That's all I want. And so the kids in this community, I was telling the parents, it's just important to get the exposure because had not my uncle took me to work, I never would have got exposed to the game. So
Right.
the importance of exposure is huge.
Huge.
It's huge. I mean, look at all the athletes now, football players and basketball players. They thought golf was this game that nobody wanted to play that.
Right.
But when they got out here playing football during the summer, they met somebody and they played golf. And
And
next thing you
exposed
know,
them
the
to it.
Michael Jordans and all these guys playing golf during the summer on their days off.
Exactly.
Football players, some football player, basketball.
Coach, you broke the barriers as the first black general manager at Highland Park Golf Course in Cleveland. What challenges did you face in that role, and how did you overcome them?
Man, you guys
Take you to
tough.
Cleveland.
You guys tough.
Take you to
Well, y'all know all this information.
I'll take you to Cleveland.
Listen, you got to remember something. That's a little story. I'm going to try to keep this short. That's a great little story. You got to remember something. From Fayetteville State, okay, I left there in 79.
Right.
Came to Livingstone, right?
Left
Left here in 89. So that's 10 years. Okay? Now, while we was in Cleveland, let's go back to like 88, when we was at the national championship in Cleveland, because that's where it was held at. That's where it was started. Okay? The National Minority Championship.
Okay.
All the black schools came. All the black schools in the nation that was there. D1s, D2s. Okay?
Okay.
So they all come to Cleveland. And it was a sign on the wall saying that they needed a general manager. And so my guys,
Yeah.
my team was out there practicing.
And the light goes off.
I went to City Hall and filled out the application. I'm 30 years old, right? I'm 30 years old. In my head, I said it's time to move on because from 20 to 30, I coached. And I thought that was enough because I was burnt out. I felt like I was burnt out, but I wanted to stay in the game of golf. And so I filled out this application and everything. So we didn't play the tournament. We back in Salisbury and everything. And I get this call like 2 or 3 months later saying that this is the commissioner. I thought it was the police. You know, the commissioner of police. I thought it was the police. I'm like, really, sir? Yes, is this Andre Springs? Yes. Are you still interested in the job? And I said, what job? He said, well, you applied to be the general manager and you're in the top 3. I would like to fly you to Cleveland. So, wow. Next thing you know, I flew to Cleveland for an interview. But here's the key. Think about it. I've never been in an interview before. I left Fayetteville State and came straight to Livingstone for 10 years, right?
Somebody told you got it,
Okay.
and you went.
Yeah, that's right. I
Didn't interview for it.
No, I didn't interview for
Wow.
a job here in Livingstone. So now I got to go to this interview. So I'm thinking the interview is with one person, right?
6, 7.
I get in this room, I'm clean, you know, I walk in there with my briefcase and everything. And it's a round table with about 5 people at City Hall. And you got to remember, I've never managed a golf course.
Right.
I'd experienced to manage a golf course, but I applied for it, okay?
Right.
And I think the reason why I had the nerve to do that is because when I worked at the golf range from 5 years
I was
old
gonna say
all the way till I finished high school,
goes back.
not only I just picked up the golf balls and put them in the basket, when I got into 8th grade, my oldest brother was working there also.
Right.
And he was running the register. So he taught me how to run the register. So I learned how to run the register, how to talk to customers, how to sell golf equipment, golf balls, golf gloves. So I was pretty quick on my feet. And I'm learning. Then my brother went on in the Army. Now I'm like in the 10th grade. I got his car. Oh, yeah, I'm running things. The whole summer I'm at the golf course, right? The whole summer. Summer. Every summer. So I'm learning a lot about it. So I think that's what really gave me that, to take that chance. And I ended up getting a job. They called me and told me I had the job. Next thing you know, I'm moving to Cleveland to manage 36 holes, not just 18.
Right.
I managed 36 holes and stayed there for about 4 years. Just enough to get exposed and get the experience so that I could come back home and do it. You know, that's why I wanted to go.
So later that year, you became the first black teaching pro at Brookdale Golf Club. What was that like?
Oh, that was great because I was the first, you got to remember, Johnny Harris was the president at Quail Hollow right now today. I caddied for him in a tournament one day when I first moved back. And he said, I heard you used to coach. You know a little bit about the game. I said, yes, sir. I'm in Hall of Fame. So I'm pretty good at the game and things like that. He said, yeah, I see that. After I caddied for him, he gave me a good piece of money for caddying, but I thought it was like a lot of money compared to what I should have made. He said, you'll be here tomorrow? I said, yes, sir. He gave me a little more than normal. And he said these words. He said, I'm building a golf course. And when I'm flying Arnold Palmer in here to design it, Birkdale. He said, when I get it built, I want you to come and work for me. I said, well, Mr. Harris, what you want me to do? I said, because, he said, well, with your personality, I want you to run the outside. I said, well, I would love to do that. I said, but the money's got to be right. He said, I know you're thinking about the money. We're going to make sure we got good money for you. So I went up to Birkdale, was the outside supervisor, and Arnold Palmer, before we opened the golf course, we had Arnold Palmer, Curtis Strange, Jay Hartz, and Billy Andres, the Wake Forest guys, and for Arnold Palmer scholarships at Wake Forest. And the pros in the pro shop, the white pros, the young white pros that's in the shop, I was outside supervisor. I walked in the pro shop one day. They said, man, you are the luckiest guy. I said, what you mean I'm lucky? Mr. Harris called up here and said that for the tournament tomorrow, you caddying for Arnold Palmer. I said, really, guys, that's got, don't do that to me. No. We wanted to caddy for Palmer, but he told us to get another bag, either Curtis Strange or J.R., but you're going to caddy for Palmer. That meant a lot. That meant a lot. You got to remember, I'm the only black at the golf course, not one in the kitchen, not one on the maintenance. I'm the only black working there. And I'm a caddy for the king of golf the next morning. And I couldn't sleep that night. And when I caddied, I got there to caddy for him. Arnold Palmer said, Andre, I heard you caddying for me. I said, yes, sir, I'm caddying for you. He said, very good. And they all mic'd up. And the fans are going down the sidelines of the golf course, and all of them mic'd up so the fans can hear whatever they say. So we're walking down hole number one, and I'm way up in the sky in my mind, caddying for Arnold Palmer. This is unbelievable. This is the king of golf. And he get to his ball, and he said, Andre, what's my yardage? I haven't thought about any yardage. I'm still in awe of caddying for the king. But I'm pretty quick on my feet, But he asked me the yardage. I gave him a number, and that number was pretty good because he hit the ball to the green. It was close. I knew the number was pretty good, but I had to go to work. I had to actually walk the yardage off, be on point. I had to work, and I'm looking at the other caddies about 5 holes later, and they normal and everything's still neat. I'm wringing wet because of the nerves of not making a mistake, caddying for the king. That was but the most touching moment I had with Arnold Palmer is when we made the turn. They gave him a sandwich, and the sandwich was cut in half in a plastic container. And we walking down the fairway, just me and the king, and he said, Andre, would you like to share a sandwich with me? And that was just the most touching moment for me to actually split a sandwich with the king of golf, walking down the fairway. And it's funny, when, some sandwiches, when they cut them, they're not 85% cut, right? So I grabbed my half, he grabbed his half, and we pulled the sandwiches out. And about 85% of the sandwich He said, "Oh, it's like that." I said, "That's just the way it came out of the container." So we laughed about it, but it was touching. It was great moments with him.
It's those small gestures like that in those moments, and I say small in the gesture, but we talked about those African American legends that impacted your life at the beginning of this conversation.
Oh yeah.
But you still knew that Jack Nicholson, Arnold Palmer, those guys, the greats, no matter what color,
Right.
those were the ones, because you strive for greatness.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys were highly influential in your life as well, even though then it came back full circle that you had that special moment with Arnold Palmer. And it wasn't just lucky, that was God.
It's always been God. I'm telling you.
The whole thing, I was thinking the same thing.
It's always
He
been.
aligns the steps up that we take, and he aligned life up the way he wanted to go. So
And I know we got to make this the speed round now.
Speed it up. Yeah.
We got our producer back there, but I want to take it back just real quick, and we can do some speed round questions, because the last couple of questions we really want you to have your voice for it. As an athletic director,
Wow.
being impactful in more than just golf, you were here to see the basketball team win a CIAA championship. How did that feel as far as your approach to being a leader across all sports spectrums at a university?
Well, one thing about me, I've been a winner all my life in everything. Everything I've been involved in, we've been successful. And when I got here to become the athletic director, I wanted to make sure that the coaches understood, I'm here to support you. And that's what I'm going to do. Your job is to get it done. It's just that simple.
Right.
In the game of sports, you got to win to keep your job.
You got to keep your job.
That's just the way it works. But as an athletic director, I wanted to make sure I gave Coach Stinson, who I thought was a great coach, the opportunity to go wherever he wanted to go and to play whoever he wanted to play against, and to have whatever he needed for his student athletes, because I wanted him to be successful. And it came out of the oven just that way. I mean, we was in 3 championships in a row. We won 2, we're trying to three-peat. So what a great coach to have on your side, and everything, and a great president, Dr. Jenkins. He bought in to supporting our football. Listen, athletics, if you want to be successful out here and at your school, and I'm talking to presidents right now, if they're listening, you got to support your athletic department, because everybody loves a winner. And if you're winning, everybody's coming. And if you're not winning, it's going to be tough for your enrollment.
We talk about the commemoration game. We talked about it earlier when we talked about Johnson C. Smith University, Livingstone College, the first HBCU football game. That's legacy beyond legacy. What was it like? And it was great for me and Foster 2015 to be a part of that with Protect Your Skull, recognizing you guys with awards of that game. What is that game? What does that mean for you, the university, and like everyone involved?
And organizing it with Coach Joyner.
Being able to organize it with Coach, another legend,
Coach Joyner. Yeah. I tell you, first of all, thank you for those awards. I remember those awards. I thought they were very distinguished at a time like that, and we
well
really
deserved. Well deserved.
Really
great to be a part of that game.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for that. And Coach Joyner and I spent a lot of good time together, and he's a legend in his right, on his own right? And but that is something really special, is to be a part of something like that. That was the first 2 teams, HBCUs, to come together and play a football game. Billop was the name of the college. JCSU is Billop College, and I live in Charlotte right now. It takes me 45 minutes to drive up here. For them to come to that football game in 1892. It took them 2 hours to travel on a buggy. 2 hours to travel from Charlotte to play that game. Now the game, as they say, it was a little interesting. I think the score was 5-0. But Dr. Trent, we named it the gym after Dr. Trent, one of the former president. He played on the team. Okay, Trent. John C. Smith fumbled the football on maybe, I think, the 10-yard line. Trent took the football and ran it all the way to the end zone, in the corner of the end zone. But it was so much snow. They said he was out of bounds. So it got to be a question of Livingstone. We were saying we was inbounds. It was a touchdown. And John C. Smith was saying he was out of bounds. Now, you got to remember, when there's a lot of snow on the ground, there's a little discrepancy of what have you. But the score would have been 6-5 favor of Livingstone. But the great thing about it is, John C. Smith, I think they have something great to look at from this standpoint of the fact that they won the first game. I had to say that. It's a little tough to say it, but they won. Okay? But it was played here at Livingstone.
But you hosted.
Yeah. And that's, so both teams have something to really go away with there.
Because you were part of a rich history, which HBCUs have always been known.
Just playing this weekend.
Innovation.
Yeah,
Just
that's right. Games this weekend.
This weekend, yeah. And so, we close it out?
Yeah, the final question, man. And finally, Foster and I say the game of life and sport is constantly evolving. And when you look at your legacy and the impact that you've made, not only between two universities, but HBCU sports, what do you want when you hear Coach Andre Springs? What do you want that legacy to be? What do you want people to think about?
I really want them to think that I'm a child of God. That's the first thing.
Excellent.
And I really want them to think that he was a guy that always wanted to support and to make sure that the student athletes have the best experience at whatever university they attend. And I also wanted to know, to make sure they understood that he was a winner.
Okay. Coach Springs, again, we want to thank you for coming out this evening. Thank you so much for sharing this incredible journey with us on today. Your story is a true example of perseverance, excellence, and service.
Yes.
Not just for sports or golf, but to education and community leadership as well. From the record-breaking days at Fayetteville State, to building championship programs here at Livingstone College, to inspiring young players, through the clinics and mentorship, your legacy continues to open the doors for others. To our listeners, if you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to share this episode with Coach Springs and his inspiring story. We thank you again for everything you've done for the HBCU sports and your legacy that you left here at Livingstone as well at Fayetteville State. We appreciate you this evening.
Well, I thank you both. Thank you.
No, we thank you. Like Foster said,
Shayla, try to get it in.
you planted seeds for a lifetime. You planted seeds for a lifetime. And we talk about throwing those seeds out, and you've done that, man. And you are, again, a great inspiration.
Until next time, keep striving, keep believing, and remember, every swing and every step and every challenge is a part of your story.
Hey, that's great. Thank you.
That's it. That's
Thank
it.
You guys. Wow.